The patient laughs manically as your shift ends at 3 a.m. You feel relieved it's over, but that laugh sticks in your mind like a thorn. You assume psych nursing is all about bizarre laughter and unpredictable behavior, but the truth? It's often quieter than you think. Patients might seem calm on the surface, hiding inner storms of pain. You walk out thinking that must have been an exception, but every shift has its moments of stark reality. The hardest part isn't the laughter or the screaming, it's the quiet desperation in their eyes when they ask if you'll be there tomorrow. You learn to see beyond the facade, understanding that each smile can mask deep distress. You start noticing the little things others might miss. A patient who never leaves their bed, another who meticulously folds towels hour after hour. These aren't just habits, they're coping mechanisms in disguise. By the end of your shift, you realize the real challenge is not handling chaos but understanding silence. The unexpected truth is that many patients seek connection more than cure. You might walk away thinking it's about managing illness, but it's truly about building relationships and trust. The hardest truth comes near the end. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, there are limits to what can be fixed in a shift or even a lifetime. As the night shifts turn into days, you start seeing patterns not just in patient behavior, but in your own reactions. You learn that every laugh and every silence tells a story far deeper than meets the eye. Walking into a psych ward for the first time can feel like stepping into another world. You're told it's all about patient-centered care, but what does that really mean? It means you need to understand your patients as whole people, not just their diagnoses. Every interaction isn't just about medications and therapy, it's about understanding their hopes and fears. But here's the kicker. Sometimes, patient-centered care feels like a luxury in the chaos of understaffing and overbooking. You're supposed to listen and respond to every need, but when you're barely keeping up with basic needs, that deeper connection often falls by the wayside. It's hard not to feel guilty for failing to meet expectations. The truth is, patient-centered care can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's the heart of good nursing, making patients feel seen and heard. On the other, it can become another box you have to tick on an already crowded checklist. It's about balance, being empathetic without burning out. You start to realize that patient-centered care isn't just about what you do for them. It's also about understanding what they need from you. Each patient teaches you something new, and every day is a chance to learn and grow. But the real test of this approach comes when things get tough, when patients are at their most challenging. So, how far are you willing to go when the going gets rough? When the system feels like it's working against you and your patients, where does patient-centered care stand? You're in the middle of a night shift, and suddenly your patient starts pacing wildly, muttering to themselves. They won't sit still or engage with you. It's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. These moments are when you feel the weight of everyone else's expectations, your colleagues, family, patients, and yourself. But then there's that moment where you finally connect. Maybe it's a kind word or holding their hand during medication. The connection is brief but crucial. It's not just about controlling behavior, it's about understanding and compassion. And yet the system can feel overwhelming. You're juggling multiple patients, paperwork, phone calls from concerned family members. In those chaotic moments, you might wonder if your efforts truly make a difference. But here's the truth. Every small step forward is vital. The hardest part isn't just dealing with challenging behaviors. It's also managing the emotional toll on yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, but there are days when you forget that rule and keep going anyway. So what happens next? How do we turn these challenges into something more positive? Do we find a way to amplify our voices in mental health advocacy? That's not just about talking, it's about changing the game. You'd think mental health advocacy would be all sunshine and high fives, but let's face it, it's often a grueling fight for recognition and resources. You feel like you're pushing boulders uphill every day, advocating for patients who are too often seen as inconvenient burdens by the system. But here's where things get interesting. Patients aren't just numbers or conditions. They're people with unique needs and stories that desperately need to be heard. Advocacy isn't just about speaking up on their behalf. It's about understanding what makes each of them tick and fighting for individualized care. Yet, even when you fight tooth and nail for better mental health awareness and resources, there are still days where it feels like nothing changes. The system can feel rigged against meaningful progress, and every small victory comes with a heavy price in time and energy. Despite the setbacks, though, you keep pushing forward because those moments when advocacy works. That one patient gets the care they need, that funding for mental health programs finally arrives. It's worth it all. What are we up against if even these victories feel so hard-won? The next layer of this reality is about to reveal itself: stigma and reality. You walk into a ward and see patients staring blankly out windows, their minds elsewhere. Yet you quickly learn that these same individuals can be incredibly witty and insightful once they start talking about their interests. The stigma around mental illness means many psych nurses face skepticism from other healthcare professionals and even family members. You find yourself having to prove your worth daily because people think all we do is hand out pills. But the reality is, you're dealing with a complex blend of emotions and behaviors that challenge your skills in ways no textbook can prepare you for. You try explaining to someone outside nursing how rewarding it feels when a patient starts making progress. They nod politely, but their eyes tell another story. They don't truly understand because they haven't walked this path. Meanwhile, inside the unit, there's an unspoken bond among psych nurses who know the struggles and victories are uniquely theirs. You share those moments in hushed tones between shifts, swapping stories of triumphs and setbacks like a secret language only you comprehend. It's ironic that while society tends to see mental health issues as less serious than physical ailments, being a psych nurse can sometimes feel more emotionally draining. Imagine the weight of carrying so many unspoken burdens day after day. But here's what no one tells you. It's these challenges that make you stronger and more empathetic in ways other careers might not offer. You see patients who were once lost now finding their way, thanks to the relentless care and support from nurses like yourself. Yet, every time a new patient arrives with fresh pain and confusion, there's an unspoken acknowledgement of the road ahead, that it won't be easy but will be worth it for those moments of clarity and connection. But just when you think you have the coping mechanisms down pat, what do you face next? You walk into the unit on your first shift as a psych nurse, heart racing. You're not alone in feeling unprepared. Every caregiver has that moment of realizing how much they don't know yet. But here's the thing. Those same caregivers will tell you it gets better with experience. They'll also admit to struggling daily with the balance between empathy and self-preservation. You see it every day, patients who have been in the system for years still searching for that breakthrough moment. It's heartbreaking, but it's not uncommon. The truth is, some days feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill without ever reaching the top. Yet there are moments, brief, shining instances, where your efforts make a tangible difference. You might hear a senior nurse say, "We do this because we believe in making a small dent where others have failed." It's easy to feel overwhelmed by that weight, but it's also incredibly humbling. You start to realize you're not just dealing with patients, you're part of their support system, their family when they don't have one. The toughest part is admitting there are some patients who will never leave your thoughts, even years later. Their stories stick with you, and you wonder if it's a sign that you care too much or not enough. You can't escape the feeling that sometimes, despite all efforts, you fall short of being that lifeline they need. Isn't it ironic, then, how you become so entrenched in their lives, become almost like family, when your goal is to help them find independence? And yet, every small victory is yours. What's next for these patients when the hospital door closes behind them? You're in a psych unit when someone finally cracks under pressure. It's those moments that can feel like watching a movie script play out before your eyes. But it's real, and you're part of something bigger than just the shift. Patients often surprise us with their resilience, revealing strengths we didn't know they had. Yet, despite this, healing is unpredictable. A breakthrough one day might lead to setbacks another week. It's like navigating through a fog where every step feels uncertain but necessary. You learn that each patient's journey is unique, like finding a key in an endless lockbox. What works for one might not work for another, no matter how much we wish it did. This can be frustrating and exhausting, yet witnessing these journeys gives us hope. Sometimes you feel like the only constant in their chaotic world. Being there for those unpredictable moments means being ready to offer support when they least expect it. It's about holding space for them as they navigate their healing process. As your shift ends at 3 a.m., a patient's laugh echoes down the hall. But now, this isn't just a manic laugh. It's a reminder of the resilience you've seen and shared in the past few hours. What was once daunting is now part of your story, shaping who you are as a nurse. Share your own stories below. What unexpected moments have changed how you see healing?